afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are today March 6th, 2015, and thank you so much for the people who have subscribed to this channel, and thank you so much for the people who are watching this particular video. So today we are going to talk about my experience as a professor in Haiti. I wanted to talk about that, and if you want to know a little bit more about my journey, you may check out my vlog, and I definitely will continue to vlog so you know and you get to see how I came about in the educational field of Haiti. But the first thing that I wanted to say is that though I have been teaching in Haiti, Haiti is not the first place where I started to teach. I actually was a professor and after-school teacher in Boston right before I came to Haiti. So these days, as educators, I don't like to say teacher for myself, because I realize that I don't teach subject to anyone. I don't do that, whether it be that I am employed with a particular school or university at kindergartens, or whether it be through the youth agency. I realize that I tend to educate people, and for me it's two different wording. For me, being an educator englobes teaching as well, because as you educate differently. You educate about different things. This week, I think Monday or Tuesday, I wrote on my Facebook status that I wish I was a better student when I used to be in school. I wish I had respected my teachers more, and I never would have thought that I would have been so englobed in the educational field, in always being a teaching, whether I teach workshops, whether I teach about hair, whether I teach about whatever it may be, I teach. So what is the essence to me and for me of being a teacher? What is the basis of teaching another individual? For me, when you are teaching someone, you teach the person about subject, but what you want to do is you are communicating to that person. You are making sure that the particular person understand the notion at the base. Because when you teach subject, if you teach history, if you teach science, or whatever it be, the reality is that your students are going to forget the lessons. They are going to forget. As professors, or as a student, or whatever the case may be, you realize that you knew something, and 2 months down the road, after a summer vacation, when the students are coming back, you have to start new. But what is not going to change is the base of what you are teaching. That's not going to change. You find that in math. You find that in Haiti we have something that's called analysis, the way we did analysis. There's certain things, there's certain notion, even when you go to college, when being in class and being out in the world is two different things. So I think that as professors, our task is not so much of teaching the lessons, on making sure that the student know the lessons by heart, or it's to pinpoint important dates and important notions that you want your student to know in the particular course that you're teaching. Okay, let me give you an example, and I'll take different example because I have taught at different level. I have taught in early childhood education. I've worked in kindergartens with the little babies. And I've also taught in higher education. I've worked in universities in Haiti. I work with adults in Haiti. And I work mostly in a high school in Haiti. So, teaching right now, I teach, let's take research skills. I teach research. And I also teach science. Two different classes. And both of these classes, teaching research, what is it that you want? What is the objective of the class? What is it that you're trying to have your student learn? How do you want them to learn? This is very important. And also, as a professor, what is your skill? What is it that you're trying to pass on to your student? I find that, and I've said that, you know, in one of the videos that I was recording in the summertime, I was saying that, and also reading about Exile to Brooklyn, when the author said that he couldn't learn in school because he didn't like the teachers. He didn't like the way the teachers were teaching. Right when I came back in January, when we came back, I did an exercise, especially with my 9th graders and my 10th graders, where I've told them, we put on the board things that they learned, and we put on the board things that they didn't like, a particular style of teaching that I may have presented to them that they didn't like. When I started to the institution, I had to win them over because, you know, I came out a little bit stronger than some of the other teachers. Mainly also because I was a new professor. They were used to the other professors. They were not used to me, which I'm accustomed to always being the new person, because sometimes I get called in and I have to work in the countryside, and it's very, very different than working in different settings, different students. So I always have to win my students over. But whether I teach in Port-au-Prince, whether I teach in the countryside, whether I teach with people from humble background or with people who have the money to pay, at the end of the day, all of my students get the same notion from me. You know, they all get the same basic notion. The first thing that I want my students to learn is to learn how to write, is to develop their thought process. Because guess what? Whatever you're going to become in life and whatever you are going to do, you need to learn how to think. You need to learn how to develop your thought process. And you need to be a good writer. You must be a good writer. You have to learn how to express yourself in writing. So all of my students, we do a lot of writing exercise. Whether I teach science, whether I teach social science, civic, it doesn't matter. I make sure that I give a lot of writing exercise to my student, because you must learn how to write. How are you going to apply for a job if you don't know how to write? This is the basic things. You have to learn how to write. So we work on that. This is something that I find that whether you are a child or an adult, if you don't know how to write, then it constitutes a handicap for you. So my student, I work with them on that as well. The second thing that I teach, and the second thing that I develop with my student, it's their particular skill set, you know. And the way I do that is by presenting different method of teaching. I do a lot of presentation, and by doing presentation, the student is gonna learn, is gonna figure out what they are good at. You know, I have a particular student who is great at graphic designer, but he just doesn't, it's not that he's a bad writer, he doesn't like to write, period. If I don't put in that I need a paper that is 5-page, he's literally going to give me a 1-page paper. But in the 1-page paper, he's going to have all of his information. It's just going to be a 1-page paper. But I want him to write more. But that's not, although that is not his thing, I still want him to focus on that. I still want him to develop that writing skills. So that's the other thing that I want to teach, and that I'm teaching my student, and that it depends, it doesn't matter the level, is to work in groups, learning how to work with others. This is something that in Haiti, we don't know how to do. We don't know how to work together. And I have to admit, and I have to share with you, though I was waiting, and I'm probably going to wait till whenever I'm no longer in this institute, maybe at the end of the semester, to tell you how I feel about this particular place where I work now in Haiti, and I'm going to compare it with the other places where I have worked, because it is such a different experience. It is a utmost different experience where I am right now, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to be there, because I really was under the impression that Haiti did not have any professional setting. You know, I've worked in too many places in Haiti because I just could not be in the settings as a professor, as a professional, as a, you know, co-worker. I just didn't understand how these people worked. So it's nice to see that I have found a place that I could talk about, that I could say that my time in Haiti wasn't totally race as an employee, you know. So the other notion that I teach for my student is how to work collectively in collaboration. I had a hard time, especially when I do workshops. That's why when I do workshops, I try to take students from different backgrounds and put them together in groups. You know why? Because if I don't do that, you wouldn't know. And you know, it's so odd because I was a particular student that hated to work in groups. I remember when I was in Quincy College, I remember that I had an assignment that was in group. I used to take a night class, and I didn't want to be working in groups. I went to my professor, you know, on his office, and I pleaded my case. And my professor was lenient, and he let me present by myself. You know, that was a bad idea because up till the time that I entered the University of Phoenix, where it was mandatory that you worked in groups, I never liked working in groups. Because why? Yes, you do find that working in groups has its downfall, depending on who and what character that you are. You may be the one person who does all of the work. It may be that you are working with people that are not putting in as much effort as you're putting in, and everybody gets the same credit. Or maybe it's a work, everybody gets a raise, and you realize that, you know what, I'm the one that did all the work. Why are they getting? Or maybe you are very shy. You did all the work, but somebody else in the group is more boastful than you are and is taking all of the credit that you are. But by working in group and mixing and matching my students, you know, by now I have come to learn them. I have come to learn their respective skills. So it's easy for me to mix and match and make sure that they all learn how to work together. You know, a lot of them didn't like that. They were like, oh, can we choose a group? No, you cannot choose the group. I choose the groups, because if you get to choose the group, guess what? You're not going to get to work with the next person. You're not going to get to work with the next person because you're only going to choose the people that you feel that you can work with. So it's fun for me to do group activities because I teach them how to work collectively. I teach them how to work, you know, and together. You know, this is a major problem that, you know, government people in Haiti have. They cannot see past their nose. They can't see and work together. When you work together with others, it's great. I've worked with my mom in 2012. I've worked at the school. I learned a lot, but I've also learned a lot from the method, the way she teaches, which for me, there isn't enough delegation. You know, you cannot do everything by yourself when you work. As a professor, you cannot do anything by yourself. There are times where I just get up and I sit in the back and I send one of my students, go sit in the front, teach me something. I've been here for such a long time. Don't tell me that I'm the only one who can teach you. Teach me something from the past lessons that we've learned. What have you learned? What have you captivated? What is it that you want to make sure that your students are learning? You know, you know, I think I could have been a better student if I was in a different type of school where it catered to individualism and I was able to develop certain things about myself. I think it would have been a little bit better. Class settings. It's important to change your settings. I've told you guys that I have severe attention problem. Like, I get bored easily with anything in all areas of my life. So I have to try to recreate things and make it more fun and make it more interesting. So changing the setting is very different from me. You know, it may be also that the student is saying that, can I go outside? You have a class assignment and the student asks, can I go? Yes, go ahead, go outside. Like, why do you need to be in the classroom if I'm not teaching, if it's a class assignment? You may feel like the student may feel like they need a different setting. You say, yeah, fine, go ahead. You come back right on time to participate in the class discussions. And listening to my students also is very important. Whether I'm done teaching workshop, I like to take polls. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. What was important in the lesson? Maybe what's a different way? What's the point of teaching and you are thinking that you're doing a good job when in fact you're not doing a good job, right? When in fact nobody's learning anything. In the beginning of the semester, I've told you that I felt my 10th graders were not getting into it, but now it's better. It's better, I've listened to them. I've listened to the fact that they said, okay, you are moving a little too fast. So I said, okay, let me reduce that. You have to listen to them. Maybe they're not accustomed to moving as fast. Okay, maybe I was moving too fast. Okay, so I listen to that. I listen to what they say. They have to take exams. When do you think you will be ready to take the exams? Communicate with your student is very important. Why the hell am I going to give you a test and you're not ready for it? Now, of course, I'm not going to wait 3-4 months before I start testing you, but I have to feel like everybody's at least the same pace, everybody's moving. And then when some people are very apt, they are ready, and sometimes they may feel like we're ready in 2 weeks, but if the majority of the class is not ready in 2 weeks, then no, I cannot do that. So it's communicating with your student that is extremely important. You want to have a good classroom. You want your classroom to be vibing. You want to feel like you're going in and the students are happy that you are coming into class and that you are happy because you are teaching something to them. You want to make sure that I don't know, I didn't think that I would have been a professor. I didn't see it in me. I mean, I would never have thought that I would be in the educational field and I would be working in it and I would be enjoying it. And I ask a lot of information. Some of the work that I do, sometimes I tackle the work with the schools that I work with in Haiti. I may ask other people's opinion about it. I may not know a particular way to do certain things, but I'm asking other people that are there, like, okay, what do you think? But I still give it a little tweaks because I want to make sure that, my setting and my classroom is at ease, that we are learning together, because you are learning from your students as well. And also, some institutions that I've worked with in Haiti, they don't put any effort into their professors. I mean, some institution I quit very, very fast. Why? When I come, I also want to learn. I'm learning from the institution. Don't just sink in everything that I have to give as your employee and you're not putting something back into me, which is very good with this institution that I work with, because they take time to do professional development with their professors. And also, the professors who work there, they work at different levels. They don't only work with this particular institution. And it's good to be around colleagues and around people that you can actually have a decent conversation with. I've worked in Haiti with people that there was no conversation whatsoever. Like, no, there's nothing we can say because there's no leverage, there's no conversation, And it's not that the person doesn't have an advanced degree, it's just that the person is not there mentally, they're not there. So it's good to be working with institution where you are valued as a professor and where they too are contributing and are putting different things into you. Do you understand what I mean? I do not like to waste my time, and there is no need for you to be working in any environment when you are not learning. All right? Getting a job, your learning doesn't stop there. And some jobs, they always sending people off to training. It's important that you do that. Every summer, before we begin, even if I'm receiving international volunteer, I do training. We talk, I take a day off the week where we sit down and we do staff meetings, staff work. Let's talk about how the week went. What is it that you need to learn a little bit more? What is it, which area do you think that you need more help? And it feels good that I am working and they're doing that as well. They're doing that as, it's two different hats. Working as an employee and working as an employer. But it's good for me to be in different settings because what, as a professor, you're giving out information, you're purging out information, but you want to refresh your information. I have people who sign up constantly for resume writing and for job interviews, but guess what? Every time they come, it's different. It's never the same information. I'm constantly seeking from new information, constantly reading, constantly looking for fresher things, newer things to do things. A workshop that I taught in 2012 is definitely not a workshop that I'm going to teach in 2015. The information is different. There's different approach to things. I'm learning different things. I too am participating in seminars, to professional development. I have newer information that are coming in that I can combine. So being a professor is really, it's really, I love it. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't think that I would have loved it so much, but I do. I enjoy it. First of all, I enjoy the rapport that I have with students. I love it. And I enjoy teaching people things and seeing that people are learning, that people are growing, and that I am contributing to, individual growth, individual development. So we are working so closely in the youth agency to develop a different program that I don't yet want to talk about. But once it's out, then I will be able to communicate more with more people. So this is really what I had to say in terms of my teaching in Haiti, my teaching style, my teaching technique, what I enjoy about teaching, and how I keep my juices there as a professor, how I keep my flow there, making sure that my students and I are happy and that we are doing new thing, new material, and all of that. So I hope this was helpful to you. And yeah, stay tuned for my next videos. If they don't come out as frequently as ever, it's just because so many things are happening at this particular moment. So I will see you soon. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.